And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray as we begin a Monday, February the 13th. How are you today? It's, in other words, downright cold this morning as we're starting out somewhere in between 31, 32 to 33, depending upon where you live this morning. Whew, it's got a burr out there. One of the a big frost as well. If you have to warm up your car before you head into town, do so now because it is plenty of frost on the old pumpkin outside as you begin this Monday. So be careful. Keep it in mind. It's a cold morning, but before it's all said and done, we're looking at a high near 70. Isn't that weird? How we can be so cold at one point and then warming up to nearly 70 here in just a little bit. That's going to be right around the corner, so expect that today with sunshine throughout the area. We're going to talk about what is coming up this week. We've got some heavy winds that are en route for us and also severe weather. And anytime the National Weather Service 7 days out starts saying that there's going to be severe weather and the possibility of tornadoes, we need to pay attention. And we're looking at that come Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Serious weather. It'll be a long night from what everything pinpoints at this point. Now, everything is subject to change and areas of where it is, but we're at a level 2 at this point. And again, that's coming up late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. We'll be here throughout the nighttime hours to monitor the weather and be on top of it no matter whatever the case is. And again, that's coming up this week also. Let's get into some good words. Let's head out to Collinsville this morning as we go to Collinsville First Baptist. Brother Ben's got a little message for us this morning.
What did you want to be when you grew up? A doctor, a teacher, a pro athlete, maybe a vet or an astronaut? We all dreamed of having these fascinating and great jobs when we grew up. But did you know that Jesus said that if you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven, there's a sense in which you should never grow up? In Matthew 18, Jesus' disciples asked who would be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And to answer that question, Jesus called a child to himself. The child was probably what we would call a preschooler or perhaps even a young toddler. Jesus stood that child before him and said, "Truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." So how do we come then to the kingdom of heaven like a child? Come joyfully, come expectantly, come trustingly, come dependently, come innocently, and most of all, come humbly like a child. And then you'll not only enter into the kingdom of heaven, but you'll also be great in it. And so in that sense, don't ever grow up. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Hope you enjoyed that. Brother Ben will be in with us Friday morning. He's going to come in on the morning show at 7 to talk about how many episodes we've done together so far. Boy, it's been climbing. Hope you'll join us for that show. Mike Dallas, good morning to you. Roy lets us know that out in the Clarkdale community, they're sitting at about 31 this morning. To Corey joining us all the way from Louisville this morning. And we will go back over the tragedy that has struck the small community of Louisville, Mississippi. Horrible. We'll talk about what happened yesterday afternoon and what we know at this point. All of that's on the way beginning at 7 this morning as Debbie will be back. And she's getting better. She's trying real hard. She'll join us here in just a few moments as we begin this day. So how are you? We do hope good and feeling great today as we all try to get through this winter time as we got, 6 more weeks of it predicted. It's still warm for the most part during the daytime. All right, let's get into our forecast now from the National Weather Service.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Let's go ahead and pull up radar this morning as we go to Meridian Honda Radar. We pull this up as we look around, all clear across the state of Mississippi and Alabama. Out to our west, all of this will be making its way into our area tomorrow as we see these wind advisories that are right through Arkansas, Missouri, and back out to our west in Waco, Texas. And these areas will be making its way into our area tomorrow. Yeah, how did that happen? I just noticed that. I don't know where. Let me see if I can fix that on the fly here this morning. Maybe so. Well, I didn't see it. Let's see here if I can do this. Things like this just out of nowhere happen. And I don't see my little button there to fix that. Isn't that something? It's also going to do it there. So issues early this morning. We'll get those fixed here in just a few moments before the next show begins. But we'll be able to talk through this, and I'll tell you exactly what's going on. But as we do look at radar, all this is out to our west this morning as we have all of this wind that's out there that will be making its way into the Meridian area before long. Just a downright mess as we get ready for the weather on Wednesday night, as we brought up. Now, let's turn our thoughts as to what's going on with the weather today. This morning, as we go back to 1962. We had a high of 84 today, back in 62. Now, the coldest that I've ever seen, I guess, happened on this date. It listed as 1899. We had a -6. Probably the coldest that we've got recorded in the state of Mississippi. That's low, -6 on this date. As we move forward to today, we're looking for sunshine throughout the Meridian area, somewhere around 67, 68, and it will be right at that 70-degree mark as we look at today. Now, as we go through Philadelphia, we're looking at 67. As we go to Eupora and we go up Columbus Air Force Base, somewhere around 65 today. To our south, we'll see 67 in Hattiesburg, and out to the west, we'll see 68 there at over in Vicksburg as well. As we move to our east into Alabama, 66 is expected today in Demopolis. Not bad. And we'll see about 63 in Birmingham, a tad bit cooler there. Off to the south, 64 in Montgomery, and we'll see about 65 there in Troy, Alabama. A little bit further south in those areas. All our friends there in Livingston, Alabama, should see somewhere close to 65, 66, right at that line. As we look to tomorrow, as I mentioned, we're going to have those sustained winds coming in tomorrow. Heavy winds will interrupt our day. As we'll look at this, we've got sustained winds tomorrow expected between 20 to 30 miles an hour. We will have gusts of 30 to 40 tomorrow. That's very strong, which means likely we could lose power due to limbs falling off trees and such. Now, as you get into the Mississippi Delta, it'll be a level 2 in that area, where the Meridian area is going to have a level 1. You'll pick up to where those gusts are anywhere from 40 to 45 in the Mississippi Delta, and that stretches from Greenwood down to Vicksburg, off to our west there. That's what we've got. As we look ahead to what is going to be coming in on Wednesday night, and this is going to change, as I've said several times, but this is Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. We're expecting severe storms possible, damaging winds, very large hail, and tornadoes are expected late in the evening. And again, what makes this so bad is what we're going to be getting is this is at dark, is when this will come in. We'll be here to walk you through it, but it could be a humdinger of weather as we look at the state of Mississippi, right in the middle of what's coming. But we'll be here through it all hours of the night to let you know exactly what's happening. As we look at Alabama, the same thing, a level 2 throughout the entire state of Alabama Thursday and Thursday night as it slowly makes its way across Mississippi, Alabama. It will affect, if you're on the eastern side of Alabama, it will be late Thursday before it arrives in your neighborhood. One of those slow-moving storms, as it often does. As we look at the temperatures across the United States, the South still warm for this time of year. As we said today, 68. We do have that cold front that is just lingering back in California, but we see today's high 68. Tomorrow we'll move into a high of about 72. And the difference in between, like this morning at 32, 31, tomorrow we'll wake up to 44, by Tuesday 61, as the temperatures will steady this Wednesday and Thursday with this bad weather at about 73 for high. Then our temperatures will dip to about 50 for the remainder of the week. As Sunday rolls in, we'll get into the 60s, and then we've got some very warm temperatures over the next, all the way through the end of February. There's absolutely nothing very cold, at least during the daytime hours, at all during the month of February. We're seeing 74. Tuesday the 21st, get this, 76 in February. That's scary, isn't it? all the way to the 27th. We're looking at 70. Nighttime lows are in the 50s for the most part. Tonight, this morning, rather, one of the coldest that we've got. Burr and burr. As we look at that fishing forecast this morning, it looks like all the way our best time to fish today is going to be somewhere around 10 o'clock this morning until lunch. If you're a fisherman, be there about 10 till lunch, and it should pay off for you. The wind's going to be southwest wind 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's the way it's shaping up with the forecast. We'll be right back here in just a moment.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. We're getting ready for the morning show. It's kicking off in roughly about 18 minutes from now. If you've got a birthday, an anniversary, any of that good stuff, we'd love to hear from you. And we'll go over what went on in our communities over the weekend. What went on? A lot. We'll discuss all this coming up. I hope you'll come back and join me. Debbie will be in this morning. She's doing her best to be here. That cold got a holt of her. Is that a word that I can use today? Holt? Hope so. We'll tell you all about that. Join us beginning at 7. It all happens right here at Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, Fox 30 this morning. We'll tell you all the ins and outs. We'll see you soon as we begin this Monday. A cold 32 right now. Here with Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: